For Pacifica Radio, I'm Scott Baba. Iran has threatened to, quote, decisively respond to any U.S. attack on the Islamic Republic following President Joe Biden's linking Tehran to the killing of 3 U.S. soldiers at a military base in Jordan. The United States has signaled it's preparing for retaliatory strikes in the wake of the Sunday drone attack that also injured at least 40 troops. There are concerns that any additional American strikes could further inflame a region already roiled by Israel's ongoing war on Hamas in the Gaza Strip and the ongoing attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels on shipping in the Red Sea. U.S. officials said today that a Navy destroyer shot down an anti-ship cruise missile launched by the Houthis. Gaza's health ministry says 150 people have been killed in the territory in the last 24 hours. Another 313 were wounded as Israeli forces continue to battle militants even in the ravaged northern part of the territory. Israel's military said today that its forces killed more than 15 Hamas militants in northern Gaza over the past day and targeted militant infrastructure in a school. The Hamas-controlled health ministry says the latest deaths bring the Palestinian death toll from Israel's offensive to 26,900. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to continue fighting in Gaza until all goals are achieved amid mounting international pressure to reach a deal to halt the conflict and internal pressure to secure the release of the remaining hostages. Sarah Coates reports.
Well, there's quiet optimism here in the region that a deal could be reached in the near future to get the remaining captives out of the Gaza Strip. We do need to remember there are more than 100 people still being held there, with a senior War Cabinet official reportedly saying that while the deal is a hard one to swallow, it may be the final chance to get these captives out. Now, today, senior Hamas officials are meeting with Egyptian officials in Cairo. They'll be discussing the deal. It's understood they'll be discussing the time frame of these proposed pauses to get the hostages out and also the number of Palestinian prisoners that would be released in return for these Israeli captives. Now, it is important to point out that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he has been saying that there will not be an Israeli withdrawal from the Gaza Strip. He also continues to say that thousands of Palestinian prisoners will not be released, but there is a lot of pressure on him to negotiate, to decide on a deal that will get these people out. Sarah Coates, Tel Aviv.
Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has been found guilty of corruption and sentenced to 14 years in prison, a day after he was separately convicted of revealing official secrets and sentenced to 10 years in prison for that offense. Today's ruling was yet another blow to the imprisoned populist leader days before his political movement attempts a return to power in parliamentary elections. In addition to his prison term, Khan was disqualified from holding any public office for 10 years. His lawyer dismissed the conviction as a violation of Khan's basic rights. The House could vote next week on whether to impeach the Secretary of Homeland Security. Jennifer King filed this report.
It was 18 ayes and 15 noes.
The ayes have it.
Lawmakers debated until just after 1 a.m. this morning before members of the Homeland Security Committee voted along party lines to recommend 2 articles of impeachment against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Republicans argue Mayorkas has lied to Congress about the border being secure and refused to enforce immigration laws. Committee Chairman Mark Green of Tennessee.
We cannot allow this man to remain in office any longer.
Border security has become a top 2024 election issue. Representative Eric Swalwell was one of the Democrats arguing that the vote was motivated by politics.
One man's petty grievances.
The charge against a cabinet official is rare, something not seen in nearly 150 years. Mayorkas did not testify on his own behalf, but wrote a pointed letter saying we need a legislative solution and only Congress can provide it. Jennifer King, Washington.
Democratic Representative Cori Bush of Missouri confirmed in a statement yesterday that she is cooperating with the Justice Department investigation into whether she misused campaign funds for her personal security. The progressive second-term lawmaker denied any wrongdoing and said the allegations were fueled by right-wing detractors.
Organizations have lodged baseless complaints against me, peddling notions that I have misused campaign funds to pay for personal security services. That simply is not true. I have complied with all applicable laws and House rules.
The issue of how Bush has been funding her security is currently under investigation by the Federal Election Commission and the House Committee on Ethics. The FEC has stated that it is not technically against the rules for a member of Congress to use campaign funds for private security, as there has been a striking increase of violent threats against lawmakers in recent years. The Office of Congressional Ethics unanimously determined in October to clear Bush of any wrongdoing in their investigation. I'm Scott Baba for Pacifica Radio.